Welcome to Women Being Loved, a weekly podcast and upcoming book series to help you and other women 35 and beyond attract deep, passionate, lasting love while honoring your authentic self. I'm Tadra, your host. Hello, lovelies. Happy Black History Month. I hope you've been able to maintain your sanity and your peace since we were last together. It's been difficult for me, I'm not going to lie. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety and uncertainty, as I'm sure many of you are as well. But the podcast must go on. This morning, I woke up with a really deep desire to talk to you about where you may be emotionally and spiritually, and how that may be causing you to question some relationship decisions that you made back in 2024, which, oh my God, feels like an entire lifetime ago now, doesn't it? Before all hell broke loose, back when you were in a solid place and you were making decisions from a very solid place. What am I talking about specifically? When things are difficult and we're facing challenges that are beyond, our everyday things, because we all have everyday challenges, but I'm talking about big stuff, big concerns. We want someone there with us to help us get through the pain, to help alleviate the uncertainty, and to give us comfort. When you're waking up every morning with fear, you can be tempted to question if that relationship that you sunset last year could help you get through this year. And it starts subtly, like a little thought in the back of your mind when you feel like you're hitting rock bottom. And it goes something like this: if she or he or they were here with me, I would feel better. Initially, depending on how sad you are or aren't, you may be able to remind yourself of why you terminated the relationship and why you chose yourself over whatever you were going through in that relationship, and why it's not time to go backwards. But as the life challenges intensify, you may lose the ability to think rationally about why you and this person are no longer together. And before you know it, you're going through your phone, you're sending a text. Hey, just checking up on you. Want to make sure you're okay. It's like, oh, I'm just concerned. What you do is you open the door for something to develop again, like a part 2.0. But what you're really doing without realizing it is what I like to call doomsday dating. Okay, what is doomsday dating? The world is coming to an end, so I might as well date this person. It's like those movies where a random guy meets a random girl and they decide instantly almost that they're in love and they're going to live an entire lifetime together, crammed into 1 week. And they're going to do all these reckless, crazy things that they would normally not do. Why? Because a meteorite is going to hit the earth in 7 days. Watch Finding a Friend for the End of the World with Keira Knightley and Steve Carell. It's great. Doomsday rom-coms make for great entertainment, but not so much for real life. Now, I understand that right now it feels like a meteorite is hitting the earth basically every single day. But it's important to not allow yourself to embrace doomsday dating. I have definitely done my share of this before I was married, but I can honestly say doomsday dating has never given me anything but distraction and eventually the same mess that I had the first time. Now you might think, well, distraction is good. No. Because doomsday dating didn't actually help me find real solutions to what I was going through. In reality, it added to my problems and it diminished my reserves that I could have been using to uplift myself daily. Suddenly now I'm entangled with this person and this situation, and all the old crap is coming back to the surface while I'm also trying to deal with whatever the real issue was before I sent that text. I'm just trying to warn you, sis. Now, I know right now you might be tempted to say, oh, that's all well and good for you. You have someone to hold you when you're crying and you're stressed, when you're trying to stay away from the news. And yes, I understand. I have said similar words to married women who tried to comfort me and guide me when I was single and going through stuff and caught up in my emotions. So I get it. I get it 100%. This is what I can say to you. Having a kind, loving, significant other when you go through hard times can be really good. But it's not the end all be all, and it's not all the time. My husband, I love him, love the man, but he cannot magically whisk away the anxiety that I feel every single day. He tries. God bless him. He tries. We talk, we cuddle, we scream at the TV together. Sometimes we scream at each other because we're both really stressed. But you know what? There are times when I am alone with myself and my emotions, and I have to be responsible for my own mental health. I have to employ meditation, prayer, yoga, little CBD, y'all, dancing, all the things that I know help me to get the fear out of my body and to come back to center. Here's a secret. Those are all things you can do right now for yourself. If you don't know where to start, go to YouTube, find a guided meditation, find a yoga practice. Seriously, you can start with 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour thing. Really, 15 minutes of calming yourself can do wonders. Or dancing. A lot of days when I'm so distraught that I can't just sit still and quiet my mind, I blast music and I just dance around the house. And sometimes by the end of 3 or 4 songs, I'm just sobbing, but that's good. That's good energy. I'm getting it all out. Maybe I'll share some of my playlists from YouTube with you as well. If none of this is appealing to you, call up a girlfriend, call up a relative. Just find someone who will listen to you without judgment and just let it all out. I have my girlfriends, particular 3 girlfriends that I call. I have my friend Bradley. Love you, Bradley. Shout out. I have my sister that I call or I text, and I can cry, I can laugh, I can scream, It helps. It really helps. Maybe you are not feeling as stressed as I am about the state of the world right now. I don't know how that's possible, but maybe you're not. Maybe actually what you're facing is a personal problem, a personal challenge, say a health crisis, or you were just let go from your job, or your family member is in danger. And that is front and center for you. You're like, I got so much on my plate already. And it's taking up all of your energy. Everything I'm saying still applies. It can still be tempting to pull out that contact list and start calling up the exes. Girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, it is story time. Stay with me because the ending of the story ties into everything I'm telling you. Trust me. Trust me. A close friend of mine, you don't need her name. A close friend of mine had a really great friendship with this guy at work. And over time, as these things sometimes do, they started dating. And then a couple of years after that, he proposed to her. And everything looked really great. It looked like a fairy tale, to be honest. But as soon as my friend got that ring, girl, the guy's ex-wife, who had a child by him, became absolutely unbearable. It went from a fairy tale to a nightmare. And this chick did everything she could to break up the couple. And really, shout out to this guy, giving credit where credit's due. He worked really hard to make my friend feel loved, to make her feel appreciated and wanted. And no matter what he did, though, the drama never stopped. So daily, and I do mean daily, his ex was causing all kinds of mayhem, especially, around the child, using the child as a means into everything. And it got worse as the little girl started to fall in love with my friend and say, oh, daddy's girlfriend is really great and I like her. So then the mom said, well, the daughter could no longer be around her dad if my friend was there. But my friend was going to be his wife. So how was that going to work exactly? So this went on for quite some time. I'd say a good year. Finally, my friend pulled the plug on the relationship with her fiance because she said this was not the future that she envisioned for herself. And, she loved this man tremendously and he was everything she had wanted. But she realized that the two of them would not be living in a bubble. And of course, he was going to be in his daughter's life forever. And she was little, so that meant 10 more years of dealing with the foolishness from his ex. So it was a really painful decision for my friend and for the guy. I mean, he was devastated. They had moved in together. He moved out. And they didn't call each other. They really tried to move forward and heal. My friend had really great income. She had a really, she's a career woman. And although she was no longer going to be splitting the expenses with her man, she would be fine. She could focus on healing her heart without being worried about her finances. That's a good place to be. Fast forward really quick, like a month or two. And my friend went through this devastating health crisis, and it really affected her ability to work. And eventually she lost her job. She feared losing her condo. And she was doing everything to pivot, to get a roommate, to get herself to her doctor appointments, and just a lot. And it went on for over a year. And at one point when I talked to her on the phone, she said, if Timothy knew what was going on with me, he would be here in a heartbeat and he would help and he would make it better. But, and she said this, but that wouldn't be fair to either of us. It would just hurt a lot because I already understand why we can't be together. I respected her so much in that moment because who wouldn't be tempted to go, oh, I made a mistake. It's the end of the world. It's the end of my world. And if I had him here, he would make it better. But you know what? She got through that and it was hard and she didn't have a romantic partner for that time, but she had me and she had her other friends. She had her family. And now, 4 years later, she's in a really beautiful place. And she can look back on that time and she can say, man, I was strong. She could have easily done doomsday dating with her ex, but she held on to the truth, to what she already knew. If you've been tempted to doomsday date lately, and it is definitely someone from your past, because you can doomsday date forward, but we're not talking about that right now. I would encourage you to sit down and write out on a piece of paper, because there's something special about using your handwriting on paper with a pencil versus on a screen. Write all the reasons the two of you didn't work out the first time. And I mean all the reasons, including his mother child. Write that down too. Then look at that list. Ask yourself, has anything changed? Seriously, has anything changed? If you backtracked and you dated him or her again, would it add anything to your life right now? And if it did add something to your life, would that something be good or bad? This is an exercise that I would strongly recommend that you do, even if right now you aren't feeling tempted to double back to a now defunct relationship. Because you know what? Times are hard for all of us. And maybe your ex is going to send you a text in hopes of doomsday dating. Okay? It's really easy to fall into that space if you're already overwhelmed and sad and uncertain. And let me tell you, it's not just women. Men get sad and uncertain and worried and want to just cover that up with relationship, with sex, with that person that they're already familiar with. It's not just us, even if they want to make it seem that way. But it's really easy to just let yourself go, to use that as an excuse. Well, I didn't text him. He texted me. But if you already have your list written, it becomes part of your resolve not to go back. Loneliness is real and is magnified during stressful times, and I am not minimizing that. Honestly, I'm not. I'm just encouraging you not to make mistakes that you will regret. And I'm trying to encourage you to trust the decisions that you made about your ex last year and just move forward. Move forward and trust that what's for you will come to you. Thank you for listening to this episode. I want to take a moment and tell you that a couple of the episodes that I have recorded last year that are here on the podcast are being removed because they were episodes where I was reading stories that were going to be included in my book. I have a book coming out very soon called Love Will Find You. But for various reasons, 3 or 4 of the stories are no longer going to be included in the book. So I want to take those episodes down so people don't listen and then look for those stories and they're like, what happened? She said. So anyway, do not fret. There are a lot of really inspiring, beautiful, uplifting stories in the book. You will not be disappointed. Stay tuned for the publication date very, very soon. Also, while I have your attention, I want to tell you that I've made a decision to create episodes when I actually have something to say. Novel idea, I know. I don't want to create content just to flood the internet. I initially said, I'm going to do this every week, but I realized I didn't really have something that felt solid every single week. And since I'm not using this podcast as a moneymaker, I'm using it to encourage you, to uplift you. It's fine for me if one person listens or 1,000 people listen. I just want people to walk away feeling good. So that said, I will not be putting something up like every week, which you probably figured out already because I haven't been putting up every week. But that means better quality, hopefully, better quality content for you when I do post. All of that said, if you would like to and you can afford to support this podcast, that would be so appreciated. So if this is giving you anything positive for your life and you can spare $5, $10, $20 if you want to give a one-time gift or an ongoing sponsorship, I would absolutely love that. And I will give you a shout out by name on the podcast. So you can go to womenbeingloved.com/podcast. And right there, you can make a donation or a support or however you want to say it. I will also put the information in the show notes. Until next time, please take care of yourself.